All right, cable bicep curls. Nothing super complicated with these. So the main thing I want to get at with this is for people, especially people that have elbow issues, like bicep stuff, hurts your elbows, it's cranky on like your forearm, stuff like that. Ooh, I got hiccups. So the main thing I want to get at is the arms, the way the muscles wrap around the upper torso, especially like the biceps, the way the shoulders sit, are not positioned very well to be in this position. You know, generally, especially if you're trying to go really heavy on stuff like bicep curls, and you're training with like pretty heavy weights, or you're just doing a lot of bicep stuff. This position tends to cause a lot of bicep and elbow issues for a lot of people. The best way to get out of that is to get out of this purely sagittal plane bicep curl. And once we get out of that, you have a ton of freedom to do stuff. So what I like to do is you can either come out here more and you can anchor the resistance behind you. You can do bicep curls this way, so I would go opposite pose here when I do it in the rack. You can go out here, you can go in like this even. This is pretty well tolerated. You can go like neutral grip stuff if you want. So really anything, like you can really work any of these kinds of positions. For most people, it generally just feels better for their shoulders and their elbows to do bicep curls from that position. If you don't have access to cables, same thing too, like even if you're to anchor the weight in front of you, out here, same thing. That's just going to emphasize like the shortened position, whereas if you anchor behind you, it's going to be more the lengthened position. Or like, I'll anchor them from like on these bottom racks sometimes and then kind of get a little more up and down, but it gets me out of this and just a little bit more into this, and then usually I can tolerate a lot more sets, and I can do a lot more. I can either do more weight, more sets, more overall volume, and it doesn't cause as many issues. And that's kind of the point of a lot of these isolation exercises. We kind of fine tune and tweak things a little bit, not necessarily because we want to baby the body and avoid things that are, we have to train every muscle from its origin to its insertion point and in that exact plane. It's not so much about optimizing muscle growth, although it does do that. But the biggest thing too is like with a lot of these isolation movements, we want to be able to pick the variations of these exercises that allow us to train the hardest. Like that's the whole point of it. It allows us to impose more training, allows us to impose and recover from higher training stress on the body than what we would otherwise be able to do using a different movement. And with a lot of this programming, we use a lot of compound movements, we use a lot of jumping movements, a lot of that stuff's pretty hard on the joints, and it's good because that's what stimulates the tendons, the ligaments, all that stuff to strengthen and be able to withstand more forces. But with that, we kind of get outside of the sagittal plane and we get out of kind of like the high peak force stuff and the isolation work because it's good for mobility, and it's kind of just therapeutic, it's going to help you recover from all the kind of really intense compound lifting that we're going to be doing. So so that's kind of the premise behind that. Now, if you don't have like a cable system like this, commercial gyms usually have it. You can easily set it up in a commercial gym. But whatever, if you only have dumbbells, dumbbells are fine because usually you can normally get away with this a lot better if you have dumbbells and you can use a neutral grip. So instead of being supinated here, you go neutral grip. This is usually a lot better tolerated for most people than this. If you're gonna do like straight bar curls, easy bar curls would be like those are like the zigzag bars. Those are like the next best option from dumbbells. If you don't have that, you gotta go straight bar. I would say like err on the side of lighter weight, higher reps for this. That was honestly the cause of like when I was younger. Cause for a lot of like bicep and elbow issues was like going heavy on straight bar curls, just like tore my stuff up, man. If you got dumbbells though, the other thing too is instead of going neutral grip, you can always just angle your arms in this way. So you can always just kind of come in here with the dumbbells a little bit. So you're kind of just not necessarily going straight out front, but kind of angling this way, or you can angle outside this way too. Just keep in mind like angling outside this way, it is going to be harder on the bottom, so you're probably going to have to go a little bit lighter weight, but don't be afraid of this like stretched, this extended elbow position. Just make sure you're not relaxing here. Keep tension on the biceps and then come up. Those are really your options for the bicep curl. let me know if you got any questions, and then